I think that the reason that what happened was that Habib Abdul Qadir Sagaf passed away. I think it's 2012, and everyone was like, this great Imam has passed away, and there was nothing about him. We didn't actually know anything about him at all, So I thought, let me just, the scholars, they write biographies. So that's how I wrote something. That was kind of the first thing, because I felt like, how can we sort of mourn this great Imam who's passed, and we don't know anything about him, and that's kind of often the case. Even, I've been in Tarim for a number of years. We always go Zambal and Faqih Muqaddam, Sagaf, and we don't ask anyone, what do you actually know about these people, So I thought, that was kind of like the trigger to kind of write about them. Also, we went to visit Aden at that time. Again, Imam al-Adani, heard about this great Imam, and again, you don't know anything about them. But so it was just like a desire to kind of, for myself, to know more, and then sort of share it with other people. It wasn't planned to be a book or anything. It just kind of, and then like, someone's coming to Tarim, who are the main people that they need to know? I think it's confusing because there's so many names, and there's so many, and they're all from different places and times. And even when you go to Zambal, we got a couple of families who had just come from Scotland with us actually, and I just talked about 5 because if you start talking about 10 or 15, you forget. You start about 1, you've already forgotten about who this is and how they connected. It's just you don't need to know the name of every single one, and it's more. And even like I said about the biographies, it's not the information. You don't need to know what date. You don't know what date they were born and what date they died, and it's not like history when you study at school. The King George IV, and it's not about that at all. It's just that all you need to know is that they were great people, and they connect you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's certain key figures that if you understand kind of where they stand in the history, then it's important. But even that, it's not. No one's gonna. It's not a test to know how much information you stored about them. But say for example, it's important to know that Imam Muhajir obviously is a key figure because he's the first. He's the grand, he's the ancestor of all the Habaib, and he's the one that made the Hijrah and established things here. So he's very important. Then you have Faqih Muqaddam because he is the kind of father of the tariqah, the spiritual path. But even that, how much do we really know about him and what he, it's kind of shrouded in mystery. But we have someone like Imam al-Haddad who we know a lot about because so much is written. So much is written about him, of his own poetry, his own poetry tells. If you read his poetry, it tells you so much about him, and so many letters that he wrote and works that he wrote, and his students did a really good job of recording his life. So for him, we have a lot to say about him, and that gives us a picture into what the others were like in a sense, Interestingly, actually, recently there's a biography of Habib Ahmed Mashhur al-Haddad. You might have seen. Doctor, it's Mustafa Badawi, like for 500 pages or something, which is a rare detail. And I'm not saying you have to go and read that, but it gives you an insight into how much can be recorded about someone's life, and how much their states and their experiences and their people's experiences with them and things like that. But of the ones that are 500, 600, 700 years, we don't know that much about them really. We don't know that much about them, but we have a good opinion of them, and we try and connect to them. But don't worry too much if you don't know the name of this person or that person. You've done so many ziyaras in the last week, you probably can't remember who they were and how they connect to each other. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just the fact that you visited them and connected to them, alhamdulillah, it's a huge blessing.